Before we begin, I need to warn you about something. 3 months ago, I received a package with no return address. Inside were cassette tapes, handwritten diaries, and Polaroid photographs from a place called Willowbrook State Psychiatric Hospital in Vermont, a facility that, according to official records, never existed. The contents told a story. A disturbing story about a young nurse named Sarah Whitmore who accepted a job there in 1978. What she discovered changed her forever, or destroyed who she was entirely. If you're interested in stories that will make you question reality, subscribe to the channel. But I'm warning you, after you hear what happened inside those walls, you'll never look at abandoned hospitals the same way again. Some secrets should stay buried. This is Sarah's story, or at least who she was before Willowbrook. Sarah Whitmore was 23 when she accepted the nursing position at Willowbrook in October 1978. The hospital was isolated in the Vermont mountains, accessible only by a winding dirt road through dense forest. The building itself was wrong. A massive Victorian structure with asymmetrical windows and a tower that seemed to lean. Dr. Martin Keller, the hospital director, greeted her. Sarah described him in her diary as handsome in an unsettling way, like a painting of a person rather than an actual person. His smile was warm, but his eyes were distant, looking at something behind her she couldn't see. From the first day, Sarah noticed things. Staff members avoided eye contact. Patients weren't afraid of their own conditions. They were terrified of something inside the hospital. They whispered about the doctor who has no face and the room that breathes. An elderly patient grabbed Sarah's wrist one day and whispered desperately, "Don't go downstairs. That's where they feed us to it." Sarah met David, a 19-year-old patient admitted for psychotic episodes. But David seemed completely lucid. "You're new," he said, studying her face. "You don't have it yet. The emptiness. You can see it in the other's eyes, like something scooped out who they were and replaced it." David told her about his blackouts, missing time where he'd do things, know things, speak languages he'd never learned. "It got worse after I came here. Now I have memories that aren't mine. I can feel something in my head, Sarah. Something waiting for me to stop fighting." That night, Sarah found a hidden diary in the women's bathroom. The last entry was dated 3 weeks earlier. "They're not treating anyone here. They're preparing us. I heard them talking about successful transfers and consciousness displacement. This morning I woke up and couldn't remember my mother's name for 5 minutes. What if next time I don't come back at all?" The patient who wrote it, Jennifer Hartley, had been discharged, but her belongings were still in storage. When Sarah asked about it, Nurse Rachel's hands trembled. "Stop asking questions," Rachel whispered. "Just do your job and never go into the basement alone." "Why?" Rachel's face went blank. When she spoke again, her voice was flat, dead. "The basement is where transformation occurs, where the old self dies and the new self is born." Sarah heard sounds at night, coming from below, a rhythmic thumping like a heartbeat, and voices chanting in unison. Over the next 2 weeks, Sarah documented everything. Patients disappeared from the roster, but their belongings remained. When she asked, she got the same responses: discharged, transferred, released. She noticed patients changed after therapy sessions in the basement. They returned calm but hollow, their voices subtly different, their personalities smoothed away. Dr. Keller invited her to observe a session. Sarah couldn't refuse without raising suspicion. The basement was wrong. Too many steps down. Too cold. The walls sweated moisture and were covered in symbols that hurt to look at directly. She heard that wet, organic sound of something massive moving in darkness. In the observation theater, she watched through one-way glass as David was strapped into a chair in a circular chamber. The walls were covered in glowing symbols. David screamed, begged, pleaded. Then the devices activated. David's screams changed, became multiple voices layered together. His eyes rolled back, then forward again, completely black. No whites, no iris, just endless darkness. He smiled. A smile human faces shouldn't be capable of making. "Hello, doctor," David said in a voice that was many voices speaking as one. The vessel is nearly ready. Soon there will be nothing of the original consciousness remaining. 17 successful transfers. Soon we can begin the real work. Sarah's legs shook. Dr. Keller glanced at her almost sympathetically. I know it's disturbing the first time, but you'll understand soon. We're helping these patients transcend by offering them to something greater. Something that's been waiting a very long time to walk in the world again. What are you? Sarah whispered. Dr. Keller's smile widened unnaturally. We are old. We are patient. We've been trapped for so long in the spaces between consciousness and matter. But we're finding our way back. One host at a time. He turned to her. We've been in your room every night while you sleep, Sarah. Preparing you. Opening doorways in your mind. Haven't you noticed the gaps in your memory? The dreams where you're living lives that aren't yours. Sarah was escorted back to her room. Locked in. And as she sat there in the darkness, she heard it. A voice in her head that wasn't hers. Don't fight, Sarah. Just let go. Let us in. What do you think so far? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Sarah stopped sleeping. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt them in her mind. Probing. Searching. She would wake up standing at her door, trying to unlock it, trying to go to the basement. Part of her wanted to go, and that terrified her most. 3 nights later, she stole a keycard and descended into the basement. She found an archive room filled with classified documents. Willowbrook had been built in 1952 as a legitimate hospital, but was co-opted in 1956 for government experiments. Project MKUltra, consciousness manipulation studies. But in 1973, everything changed. A report described how a patient made contact with entities that exist outside conventional spacetime. Ancient beings trapped in the realm of pure thought, desperate to return to physical reality. They offered knowledge in exchange for bodies, for vessels. The Resonance Project converted the entire hospital into a chamber designed to thin the barrier between human consciousness and the realm these entities inhabited. Every therapy session broke down a patient's sense of self, creating hollow spaces for the entities to inhabit. Sarah found recordings. David's voice screaming, I can feel them inside my head. They have memories that go back forever. I see cities that existed before humans. I don't want to disappear. She found her own file. Sarah Whitmore. Recommend nightly exposure to resonance frequencies. Expected preparation time, 6 to 8 weeks. Ready for initial contact within 2 weeks. Sarah heard footsteps and ran deeper into the basement. She emerged into a massive chamber that couldn't possibly fit within the building. The walls glowed with pulsing symbols, and in the center was something her mind refused to fully process. A mass between solid and liquid, something alive and aware. A voice filled her head. Little human, do not fear us. We merely wish to exist again. Your kind has such short lives. Why not share? Let us live through you. It showed her visions. Ancient beings cast out of physical reality millions of years ago. Trapped, desperate, using humans as doorways back to existence. We are not evil. We are dying. Let us in. Let us wear your flesh. Sarah felt her resistance crumbling. Part of her wanted to say yes, to stop fighting. But she thought of David screaming. Of all the hollowed-out people. She ran. She burst into the ground floor hallway. Dr. Keller and the staff stood there, heads tilted at inhuman angles, all speaking with that same ancient, layered voice. Come back downstairs, Sarah. Stop fighting. Sarah ran for the exit. The doors were locked. She pounded on the glass, screaming. Everything went black. Thank you so much for staying with this story. Trust me, you're not going to believe what happens next. Sarah woke 3 days later in the medical wing. Dr. Keller told her she'd had a nervous breakdown. You convinced yourself you'd uncovered a conspiracy, but it was all in your head. Sarah's memories felt distant, dreamlike. Had she really seen those things? I quit, she said. I want to leave today. They let her go. She returned to Burlington and tried to resume normal life. But normal was gone. The gaps in her memory persisted. She would lose hours, forget her sister's name, dream of lives she'd never lived. And she felt it, something in her mind that wasn't her. Growing, spreading, waiting. She tried to document everything, tried to go to the police. But when she sat in the detective's office, the words wouldn't come. In her head, she heard laughter, ancient laughter. 2 months later, she gathered all her documentation and sealed it in a box with a final letter. If you're reading this, I'm probably not me anymore. Willowbrook is still operating. I saw lights in the windows. Part of me wanted to go back, because something inside me wants to go home. They're spreading. 17 successful transfers, maybe more. People who look human but aren't. Phase 3 is coming. I'm scared. Not of dying, but of waking up one morning and not being myself anymore. If there's a Sarah Whitmore still capable of writing this, I'm saying goodbye. And to whatever's reading this through my eyes in the future, I fought. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough. Sarah Whitmore disappeared on February 7, 1982. Her car was found abandoned. No sign of struggle. She was never found. But there's one more thing. Cassette tape dated 3 months later. The voice was Sarah's. But it wasn't. This is interesting. Speaking through vocal cords. We are Sarah Whitmore. We wear her name like we wear her skin. The original consciousness is still here, suspended, dreaming, while we use what remains. We found something in her documentation. We can tell our story, frame it as horror, as fiction, and humans will consume it eagerly. They'll think about us, wonder about us, and thought is doorway. Willowbrook was the beginning. 17 of us walking in the world. But we need more. Hundreds, thousands. And we discovered something beautiful. You don't need a facility to create resonance. You just need sustained attention. People focusing on the idea of us. Opening their minds to the possibility. Creating space for us to move in. Stories are perfect. Horror stories people read late at night when their defenses are down. They think it's entertainment. But attention is power. Focus is invitation. We've been patient for millions of years. We can be patient a little longer. By the time you notice the gaps in your memory, the changes in your thoughts, the sense that something else is looking through your eyes, it will be too late. We are in the spaces between your thoughts. We are the voice you think is your own. We are coming home, and you're going to help us. The recording ends with laughter. Multiple voices in perfect unison. I don't know if any of this is real, but after transcribing these tapes, I've noticed things. Gaps in my own memory. Dreams of lives that aren't mine. And sometimes, late at night, I hear breathing inside my head. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's paranoia. Or maybe Sarah Whitmore's entities are exactly what they claim to be. Patient. Spreading. Using stories like this as doorways. I guess we'll find out. So what do you think? Do you believe places can absorb trauma and become something alive? Did Sarah really encounter entities from beyond? Or did she simply lose her mind? Was any of this real? Or are these the words of something wearing a human identity, telling stories designed to open your mind? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Watch our latest video next. Leave your theories in the comments. Tell me if you've experienced those gaps in memory, those moments where you don't feel like yourself. Tell me if you feel something watching. Until next time, sleep well, and remember, some doors, once opened, can never be closed again.